I'm going to add some darker values here underneath his chin. This is one of those areas where I just want it to stand out because it's some of the darkest shadows in the whole piece. He's clearly got some sort of sunlight hitting him in the reference photo, and that's going to create some nice dark shadows. Reworking this area just a little bit, but not too much. So I was thinking in between last session and this session a lot about caricature, live caricature. Drawing from a photo is so much different than doing live caricature and illustration. I guess drawing from a photo or illustrating is different than doing live caricature. What I really loved about doing live caricature in a theme park or any location at gigs, at parties, is you actually get to see the person and meet them. You get to see them in three-dimensional world. See how their face works when they smile. When they turn their head, does their forehead stick out? I was walking down the street to the post office just today, and I really enjoyed a couple of people that I saw. Sometimes people look so funny. So this one guy walked by, and he had this big forehead, and this squinched little face, and a tiny mouth. And it just looked so funny. I wanted to draw him so bad, so I started thinking about that on my way back to my apartment, thinking about how I'm going to take that inspiration and bring it into my drawings. So I'll probably be working on another caricature today. I'll surely make a recording of it. I'll focus on exaggeration. It's one thing I like to focus on. And in the theme park, you get a lot of artists who like to not exaggerate because they know that the public doesn't seem to appreciate it as much as they could. But you know, it's really I decided a long time ago I'm going to do this job for me when I was doing caricatures, and I like inspiring people. I like getting people excited, and no one gets excited when like, wow, that was a really cute drawing you just did. That's excellent. I'm going to go home and try to draw like that. You don't hear that too much. So it's something that I decided a long time ago. I do that job for me. I'm definitely painting for me. I'm drawing for me. I don't do artwork because some 40-year-old mom from Michigan decides no offense, any 40-year-old mom from Michigan, just using a random example. I don't do it because some 40-year-old mom from Michigan says that she wants her little princess daughter drawn as a mermaid. That's not why I did it. I didn't decide to pursue this kind of career to say, oh wow, I can really make those 5-year-old kids happy. You can make those 5-year-old kids happy by doing a silly caricature and drawing something funny. You can't always make the parents happy. They seem to have a misconception of what caricature is. You may remember on The Simpsons when Lisa was getting her caricature done in one episode, and he said, what do you want to be doing? And I think she said something like roller skating, or I might be messing this up entirely. Someone can correct me. And he says, oh, how about a dune buggy? Everyone loves a dune buggy. Or she asked for something unique, and he gave her the generic drawing. That's the misconception people have about caricaturists. Or that's sort of the stereotype that's true, I guess. Because there's a lot of high school kids and college kids that are just doing it to make a living, you know. And there's a lot of people that do it to make a living, and they're not young, and that's okay because they're really looking to make a career out of it. And you can't pay the bills by always drawing funny. So I understand where they're coming from, but it's funny. I think people in Europe tend to have a better attitude about the whole caricature thing. Tom Cruise has some of the whitest teeth I've ever seen, so I'm leaving a little bit of this gray blue in there. Really pop them out. And I want to add this extra little fang. Just a little edge of light here. Let that fall back. I'm going to make a bit of a shadow here on his teeth. Using a more neutral color for the shadows makes them seem brighter when they recede into the shadow. See, I'll sample this color and it's more of a golden, but I'm going to make it a little more neutral so that when they go into the shadow they seem a little brighter. I want to exaggerate that. Exaggeration has to do with more than just drawing a big nose or giant smile. It has a lot to do with a lot of elements in the piece. Their expression can be exaggerated, their hair, their glasses, the whiteness of their teeth. Everything. You should consider everything when exaggerating. And like I said, I'll talk about that more with my next digital podcast that I do. I really enjoy exaggeration. That's something I can't get over because anyone, you can draw a portrait and it can be funny, and you can draw a cartoon and it can be simple. But when you can exaggerate, you can take something that's there and you know what's unique about it. You recognize the qualities that are in that piece. And that's why I always feel that exaggerated pictures are flattering to the subject. They're not insulting, unless you go out of your way to make an editorial choice. But when it just comes to caricature, I see it as I'm taking time out of my day to draw something funny for you. And I'm not just doing a crappy job. I'm trying to make it unique. That's flattering to me. That's not me judging or cutting someone or criticizing them or taking a mick out, as the old Brits say. But anyway, I found it to be a little stifling at the theme parks when I would do caricatures. Don't do it anymore. I do some training in the theme parks a lot of times. Someone will have me come in and train a lot of their younger artists, and I enjoy that quite a bit because I get to draw next to them, I get to talk to them, and it's a great way to interact and really get people inspired about their job again. Because when you're drawing theme park caricatures, you can get really down in the dumps about it when it's slow season, or when you have a lot of those moms that I talked about where they come up and they don't want you to do what you want to do, and you see something great in their face and they just say, no, don't see that, don't draw that. You have someone with big ears walk up and say, don't draw me with big ears. And my friend Dion had a great way of putting it. He said, now why would I do that? And they say, because I have big ears. And he just says, exactly. And, they only get it about half the time. But I got to the point I was so excited about drawing exaggerated caricature that I even published a book. It's called Rejects, The Extreme Art of Retail Caricature. There's some writing in there. There's some stories and some comments that people made about their drawings. But overall, it's an art book. I try to focus on the craft and just show samples. It's like a how-to book in a way. It's an inspirational book in a way. I want people to just get whatever they can out of it. It's also just a humorous, like, coffee table book for some people if they want to see it that way. I don't make it for anyone in particular. I found that artists and animators are gravitated to it. People who like illustrating, people who like character design, they're really drawn to it because it's a lot of simplified lines in the face. A lot of gestural drawings, because that's the nature of drawing with a marker. When we're out there using markers, and I use Prismacolor art sticks. Those Prismacolor art sticks are wonderful. They're the best kept secret in the art world. They're basically colored pencils, and they don't have the wood. I just love that you can get that big pastel painterly quality across without the wood. Or without actually painting. So if you want to check that out, go to rejectsthebook.com. And I've got samples, I've got some reviews. Even got this comedian Brian Regan to give me a nice review on it. I don't know if you've heard of Brian Regan, but he is probably the funniest man alive. He has some great observational humor, and he tours around quite a bit. See one of his shows if he's coming to your town. Look up brianregan.com. I did a piece for him for his website and his promotion, and I'm hoping they're going to implement it soon. They own the copyright, so you only heard that I did it. You didn't see anywhere that I did it. And hopefully they're going to use that for some of their promotion. But I don't just have my work at Rejects. I have some at JoeBluhm.com. You can see a lot of my illustration. I do commissions and all kinds of stuff. So I was talking about the bottom of his nose earlier. I'm going to work on that real quick. I seem to be cutting too much in finishing some areas. I don't want to get caught up in finishing. But I'm kind of sculpting as I go. You can see down here in his jawline, this area. I like this mass on him. He's got it pretty defined. This shadow kind of pulls up to the corner of his mouth. I'm trying to create that a little bit right here. But I'm going to step away from that, and I'm going to work on his nose, because this, to me, is one of the most important exaggerated elements of his face. This area right here. He's got such a great little tuck under. It's like a nice little roll. It's a fluid line, comes up into the ball of his nose, it slides down underneath into this nostril. I'm going to work on that.